Many people are glued to their screens to see what is next in the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. What we do today is history tomorrow. So when I read that people are sharing their views and opinions, that's all fine. Everybody has the right to do that. But what I'd like is that we can all have a more intelligent discussion because we understand what is happening. It just so happens that I'm a lawyer. Kung ang show na pinapanood natin today is not the live impeachment trial but a cooking show, and the chef is using terms that are normal for chefs or people in the kitchen. For example, to dice the vegetables, to saute the vegetables. Yung saute, alam ko yun, yung magigisa ka. Pero meron palang to julienne. By the way, my middle name is Juliana. Pero hindi ko alam yung ibig sabihin ng Julian. Ang ibig pala sabihin nun is, I think, cut the vegetables in long strips. So, yun pala yung julienne. I don't know that. So, if biglang sabihin ni chef, and so you julienne the vegetables, and like, baka akala ko pakuluan yung vegetables, right? So, it's the same thing in this Senate impeachment. It's a quasi-judicial process, meaning may legal process involved, and therefore may legal terms. So, kung hindi naiintindihan ng mga nagko-comment yung terms, siguro the best thing to do is intindihin. Kasi we're all entitled to our opinions, but let's have intelligent discussions, di ba? So that's what I'd like to do. Outside of the impeachment trial, hanggat may konti tayong time, I'd like to share basic legal terms, legal processes, kumbaga, impeachment 101 tayo, para you can engage in intelligent debate and uplift the discussion. That is, I think, what is essential for this, so that we understand. So, ako, nung bata ako, natatandaan ko sa mga legal shows, yung mga crime shows, yung mga action shows, may court scene yun. Tapos lagi, ano maririnig mo? Objection, Your Honor. You always hear that. And why are they objecting? Kung ano-ano din ibabato na reason. So, there always has to be a reason for the objection. Now, as far as the person objecting is concerned, well, naniniwala siya na may purpose yung objection niya. But that is for the judge to decide. And that's why during the trial, you will hear one party asking questions, and then the other party, if they don't like the question, they will object. So I think we have to go, we'll do a little bit of background before I discuss the objections na ano ba yung nangyayari that leads to a lawyer objecting, right? So let's talk about why the witness is there. What is their purpose? Because the prosecution, who will be the one to start, has to establish their case, has to prove their case, and they prove it with evidence. And their witness is one kind of evidence. The prosecution and then later on the defense will call their witness, and they will go through the direct examination, which means they will examine their witness. How do they do this? By a series of questions. They will build up those questions to elicit the information they want from that witness. So, if your witness witness a crime, may napanood siyang crime, hindi mo naman tatanungin, baka hindi relevant doon kung ano yung saan siya nagbakasyon. Baka hindi relevant yon. Pero relevant yon kung nangyari yung crime habang nagbabakasyon siya. Kasi let's say that witness is from the States, and then the crime happened in the Philippines. So you might ask, so what are you doing in the Philippines? Nagbabakasyon. So in that case, it became relevant. But if it has nothing to do, you only have to ask questions that are directly related to the information you want to elicit from your witness. That's why you'll hear objections like irrelevant. Diba? Pag walang kinalaman yun, tatanong irrelevant. And then maybe the lawyer will say, no, give me time. I'm going to establish why this is relevant. Okay, this is sabihin ng judge, overruled. Let the witness answer. Ganun po yun, di ba? So, kunyari, pag tinanong, who are your friends? Sabihin, I object. It's irrelevant. Ay, hindi, I will show why it's relevant. Kasi may relationship pala siya doon, barkada pala nila, di ba? So, kaya pala relevant. So, maraming instances na ganon. But the purpose, what you have to keep in mind is, ano yung reason kung ba't dinala yung witness doon, and then listen to the kinds of questions asked, and listen why there's an objection. It's for me, it's exciting as a lawyer kasi inaral namin yun, and I hope it can be exciting for you once you understand the question. So that's the purpose of direct examination, that the lawyer presents the witness who will now testify based on their personal knowledge. What does that mean? It means something that they saw, they heard. Pwedeng they smelled, for example. Why would smell be relevant? For example, ang nagko-complain ay, let's say, may nasunog na lugar. So a witness might testify na, I was studying and suddenly I smelled smoke. So relevant yun na he didn't see the smoke, but he smelled the smoke. And it's relevant in a case that involves a fire, right? So that witness must use their senses. Kung ano yung senses niya. So that is the importance of the personal experience of the witness. And that's why another major objection would be hearsay, because you can only testify as to what you experienced, you saw, you heard, you smelled, yun na nga. That's why madalas din na objection is hearsay. So, I think we've established what direct examination means. So throughout the course of the direct examination, like I've said, the opposing counsel can always question if they feel proper yung questions for, again, like I said, various reasons. And later on, we can go through all the kinds of different objections. But, you know, the common ones would be leading question, misleading question, hearsay, irrelevant, yung pag hindi pa na-establish yung facts ng case. So, maraming mga kind of questions na ganon. And it would be great if you understand it so that you would know, I know we are all human beings, we are not robots, so we have our personal biases. Some of you may prejudge a case. I'm not even talking about the impeachment per se, but any case, no? Pero when you listen carefully, hopefully you can understand why is this lawyer objecting? And why did this lawyer, why is the other lawyer fighting for the right to continue? Kasi sometimes naman, sasabihin ng lawyer, pag object, withdrawn. Yung pala, ang ginagawa niya pag withdrawn kasi he agrees na objectionable yung sinabi niya. Minsan, parang may tinitrigger lang siya. Like, minsan sasabihin, already answered, di ba? Asked and answered. So, ba't niya inuulit? Kasi ina-emphasize niya. Pero kung ikaw naman yung opposing counsel, natanong na yon, wag ka nang magtanong, move on ka na. Pero siguro gusto niya ma-emphasize, so tatanungin niya ulit, tapos sasabihin niya, okay, withdrawn. But even like me, kasi medyo, I like to be very precise, kumbaga mabusisi. Tendency mo kasi ulitin yun pagka i-establish mo ulit yung fact. Di pag hindi naman nag-object, kasi kunyari, age lang naman yung pinag-uusapan, ini-establish mo yung witness, matanda, bata, or whatever. Di ba gusto mo ulitin? So, pag di naman siya nag-object, okay lang. Pag nag-object siya, may right siya mag-object kasi nga, asked and answered na. Di ba? So, that's the direct examination and the kind of objections. What happens next is the cross-examination. Now, the other party has the right to cross-examine the witness of that party. So, pag direct examination, witness na yon. It tends to be a friendly witness. I'll go into that later because you can also call a hostile witness. Yung witness mo siya, pero alam mong hindi mo to kakampi or alam mong malamang yung sasabihin niya, gusto mong information na makuha sa kanya, feeling mo he or she will not give it voluntarily. Kunyari, alam mong may witness na nakapanood nun, baka kaibigan nung accused. Hindi yan basta-basta magsasabi. So, hostile witness yun. We'll go into that later. The point is, for the direct examination, the party calls their witness and then there can be a cross. So, ganun din. Pag nag-cross naman siya, eto naman si dating nagdidirect ang pwedeng mag-object dun sa questions. The thing lang kasi that we have to know is in cross-examination, leading questions are allowed. Kaya I'll repeat that. In direct examination, leading questions are not allowed. Therefore, the opposing counsel will object. But in cross-examination, yung kino-cross-examine mo yung witness ng kabila, pwedeng leading. Bakit? Kasi, for leading questions, for your own witness, the reason you can't ask leading questions is because parang tinuturuan mo siyang sumagot. So, for example, pag ang tanong mo dun sa sarili mong witness, nasuka ka nung kinain mo yon? Yung pwedeng tanungin yon. Sabihin mo, ano yung na-feel mo? Kasi pag sinabi mong nasuka ka, para mo lang sinabi sa kanya na sumuka ka, di ba? O sabihin mo, sige, sabihin mo sumuka ka. You can only ask, what were you feeling? Let the witness say, I was a bit dizzy, or I felt like throwing up, nasuka ako. Ayaw mo siyang magsabi nun. So ngayon, mag-o-oppose si counsel. But, pag cross-examine yun, hindi niya witness yun eh. So, pwede niya ngayong i-question yung credibility kasi that is the purpose of the cross. To question the credibility, to question the accuracy. Tama ba yung pinagsasabi nito? You can now question na talaga bang nandun ka ng 12 o'clock? Di ba kasabihin nito na, leading naman yun, ba't mo naman tinatanong ng 12 o'clock? Kasi nga cross-examination yun. Pwede mong tanungin na ganun kadiretso yun on cross. So, I think this is the most basic things you have to understand. No? Leading questions are not allowed during direct examination, but they are allowed during cross-examination. So the things that I just discussed, you can now apply this in what you saw during the impeachment trial, particularly day 2 and day 3, which was the time that there was already a witness on the stand. Because during day 1, it was just opening statements. During day 2 and day 3, there's a witness. So yung mga kinuwento ko sa inyo, you can apply that now in any case that you watch. If you go on YouTube and just follow a case, you'll understand it. And even in this impeachment trial, you'll understand it. Kasi nga, we're following the legal rules. Now, how important is the application of the rules? Well, it being a quasi-judicial process, our rules indicate that we are using the rules of the Senate and the rules of court in a suppletory effect, which means ginagamit namin yan to guide us. So, it is up to us as an impeachment court how strict or how lenient we will be. What is important to note is there are still always rules. We may debate on how strict we will be. I'll give you an example. For criminal cases, the burden of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. If you're going to convict a person of a crime, you have to have that belief beyond reasonable doubt that this person committed the crime. Kung feeling mo lang, duda ko lang, parang siya, that is not proof beyond reasonable doubt. Pero in a civil case, it's just preponderance of evidence, which means, ano yung mas mabigat? Mas maraming ebidensya to show guilty to. Mukhang may utang talaga to. Mukhang may duty to sa ibang tao na hindi niya nagawa. No need na beyond a reasonable doubt. Kasi tandaan nyo sa crime, may kulong yan eh. So iba. So we cannot change that. So my point here is, we always have to be guided by rules. Kaya pag nababasa ko, naririnig ko na, wag nang mag-technicalities, hindi ho pwede yun. Parang sinabi mo sa chef na, wag kang gumamit ng measuring cup. Kasi mahilig ako mag-bake. Pwede kang gumamit ng cups, teaspoons, tablespoons, or pwede mong i-measure. Sabi nila, mas accurate yung pag-measure. Kasi nga, tinitimbang mo yung cup kasi baka puno, baka hindi puno, di ba? So, ganun din sa law. May rules talaga. It depends on the proceedings kung gaano kabigat yung type of evidence na kailangan or anong strict rules ang gagamitin. But always, there are rules. So, again, for example, collegial basketball versus mga 6 years old. Tingin nyo ba, same yung rules na ginagamit? Hindi. Pero, there are non-negotiables. Like, bawal naman magtulakan. Bawal naman magsuntukan. Diba? Kahit sabihin mong bata yung naglalaro, matanda, may bawal. But, medyo iba yung application kasi baka hindi pa ganun kagaling mag-dribble yung mga 6 years old, yung 8 years old, but there are still always rules. Sasabihin pa rin ng coach, bawal tumakbo na hawak mo yung bola, 'di ba? baka lenient habang natututo pa lang yung bata, pero ituturo na yung rules. Di ako papayag na makakarinig ako na hindi pwedeng strict yung rules. Di ako papayag dyan kasi bawal yun. It is an injustice to the Filipino people na i-disregard natin yung rules. Now, sabi ng iba, kung gusto nyo, ginagamit yung rules. Kung ayaw, ginagamit ng rules. Well, that's what we learn in law school when to apply the rules. Like I said, there are different set of rules. So, it's up to you to argue your case that in this particular case, we have to use the strict interpretation. In this case, hindi tayo dapat strict kasi may iba tayong rules na pwede. Sa akin naman po, basta may basihan, doon tayo magtalo. Pero hindi pwede yung walang basihan. Magtanong ka para maintindihan mo. Huwag tayong magtalo dahil hindi mo alam. Alamin natin. Let's understand the rules and then we can have a debate, right? Normally, ang lawyer, hindi ho nakikipagdebate sa hindi lawyer. Because alam namin na iba yung training namin eh. But because being in the Senate by itself does not require that you are a lawyer, there is no requirement, then by nature, a non-lawyer can debate with me in the Senate, di ba? So, ano ako doon? Mindful ako doon. Pero, it so happens that, right, that's why when we debate laws or bills, I always try to explain it in a layman's term. Kasi, alam ko may nakikinig, tapos possible din naman na yung kausap ko, hindi naman abogado. That's very possible. In this impeachment proceeding, ganun din, ang mga kasama ko, karamihan, hindi abogado. So I also try to explain. Pero ang sa akin, hindi pwedeng disregard the law. Intindihan natin yung law. I will be very patient in explaining. But it is a legal procedure. So we cannot disregard it. We cannot say, wala nang legal-legal dito, wala nang technical. Hindi ho pwede yun. And pag nakakarinig ako ng arguments na hindi man lang i-consider yung ibang arguments, ayoko din nun. Sabihin na lang natin na this is my belief, this is the view that I take. If somebody else has a different view, i-argue mo yung view mo. Hindi yung parang wala kang narinig. Hindi mo ganun yon. Kasi people are watching, nakikita nila, naririnig nila. So maganda sana na nadedebate ng maayos. So anyway, I hope this helped you understand more legal terms, the legal process, and it will help you, if not participate, dahil hindi naman ho kayo parties in the impeachment, but understand it and have, like I said, intelligent discussions because the Filipino people deserve to understand and deserve to have intelligent discussions.